Hi guys, my name is Marie and welcome to my kawaii world. So in this video, I'm going to take you on a walking tour of Hannam-dong, which is one of my favorite neighborhoods to hang out in Seoul. It's right next to Itaewon, and both of those places are in the Yongsan district of Seoul. Hannam is filled with chic cafes and trendy restaurants and just really cool spots, so let's go check it out. To access Hannam-dong, you're going to want to take the train to Hangangjin metro station, and then you're going to want to go out of exit 3. Walk up the stairs, and once you get out of the train station, you'll want to walk straight for about 5 to 7 minutes, and the first thing that you'll see on your left is the Yongsan Crafts Museum. My daughter and I made these black lacquer mother of pearl mirrors, which is a traditional Korean craft, so if you guys are into crafts, then you might want to check it out. If you keep walking straight, you'll see this big red bird, and inside of this big building is Passion 5 Bakery, and this is a bakery that's owned by the same conglomerate that owns Paris Baguette, and they sell really pretty desserts. There are so many desserts here, and they always change them up when they're making new things, so I can't say that I've tried even nearly close to all of them, but my favorite is this Earl Grey chiffon cake, which is so light and pillowy. This bakery probably has the biggest selection of nice desserts that I've seen in Seoul, and everything is just so good. I don't think I've had anything here that I didn't like. When you leave Passion 5, if you turn left and keep walking the way that you were going before, you'll see Grilled Doha on your left side. Grilled Doha serves Mediterranean food, and when we came here, we were expecting it to be a really casual restaurant, but once we looked at the prices on the menu, we realized that it was a little bit fancier than we had expected, but the environment itself is just pretty regular. The thing that we really liked here was this hummus plate, which is meant for 4 people, and they had avocado hummus, carrot hummus, beet hummus, and regular hummus, and then some other sauces, and we also ended up getting some lamb as well as naan, and with all of that, everything ended up costing a lot more than we had expected, but it was also really good. The butterfly
$10? Which one?
If you come out of Grilled Doha and turn left and look for this street that sort of heads downhill, you're going to want to walk down this street, and this is where you can find a lot of cool cafes and restaurants. So I'm going to walk down the first street that's to the right of that Pipit restaurant, and on the right side there's this place called Space Shinson, which is a museum that you can access on the other side of the street. On the left side there's this cafe called Bnhr, which I actually discovered on Instagram. It just looked really cool and intriguing to me, but Instagram sometimes lies. When I got there, it wasn't really anything super special. We ordered coffee and the Assam tea that comes in a bottle, and to be honest, the drinks weren't very good at all. It has sort of a skater meets mid-century modern meets high school classroom vibe to it, and I'm not sure what's the deal with all the Supreme stickers all over the place. But I guess this cafe feels the same way about me as I feel about it. Honestly, in this neighborhood there are so many cafes, you can definitely find a better one. Let's head down the stairs and continue down the street, and we're gonna check out this cool art gallery that I happened upon. It has a little coffee shop at the bottom, but I would recommend just going upstairs. You don't have to buy anything to look around. And they have some cool artwork here, but they're always changing it up, so when you go, there will probably be something different on the walls. You guys, the cafe and restaurant business in Korea seems like it's really tough because a lot of them are here today and gone tomorrow. So just make sure before you head to any of these places that you look them up online and make sure that they're still open. This is one of my favorite bakeries in the Hannam-dong neighborhood, and it's called Fill and Bake. And the reason that I like it is that they have some really unique desserts and pastries. For instance, they make these little meringues that are sandwiched between Ritz crackers, and they have this cookie that looks like an ice cream scoop. Everything just is so pretty and cute, and also very simple. You like the chocolate ice cream?
It's a slingshot.
You pick up your desserts and order your drinks downstairs, and then you can head up to the upstairs seating area, which is where you can just sit and hang out and enjoy your food and beverages. We got a matcha spinner, which is espresso topped with matcha cream, and also a passion fruit aid, and this cool cookie that has sprinkles sandwiched between two sugar panes that look like glass, and these are my favorite, Ritz meringues. Across the street from Fill and Bake is this cool cafe that seems really artsy. I've never actually been here myself, but this is on my list of places to go. Now there are so many cafes in this neighborhood, it's hard to decide where to go, and sometimes you wonder why some cafes get more hype and reviews than others. And I thought I would give this cafe called Hope Garden a chance, even though I didn't see much about it on social media or read about it. And I guess it was for good reason, because I ended up not really liking the cake or drinks that much. There are three main streets, I guess, in this back alleyway. The first one was where Bnhr coffee was. We're on the second alley, and now I'm going to turn down to the third street or alleyway. And this is probably my favorite street. They have this really good sushi restaurant called Obok Susan, and this is a chain. They have one in Hannam-dong as well, but they serve a really good kaisendon. So if you like sushi, then definitely come here. It's probably one of my favorite places to eat in Seoul. The quality of the fish is really good here, and it's just really simple and amazing. Right below Obok Susan is this little coffee shop called Low Coffee Hannam, and I saw so many pictures of this on Instagram, and I really wondered what all the hype was about, because it just looks kind of like a whatever cafe. But they serve this green matcha latte in a bottle. These bottle drinks are really trending right now for some reason, and I told the lady that she misspelled malcha, but she told me that she knows. My husband later told me that Koreans say malcha instead of matcha, but this was a really good, deep, green, rich matcha latte, and I really liked it a lot. So this is one cafe that actually lived up to its Instagram hype. Right down the street from Low Coffee is this restaurant called La Ferme. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's a restaurant that serves healthy food like salads, and I had to get the avocado salmon salad. It was super good, but also super expensive. One in a Million is another cafe that gets a lot of coverage, I guess, on Instagram because of that big pink wall. But honestly, I think this is kind of a place where I would just take a quick photo in front of the wall and then go somewhere else, because the cafe is just kind of whatever. Sienna and I got this white tiramisu dessert that was not her choice. She wasn't really happy about it, and I should have listened to her because it wasn't that good. And the drinks were just okay. They came in pretty cups, but I would probably choose to hang out at another cafe over at this one. When you come out of One in a Million, turn left and keep walking down the street. And I found this really cute store. I really wish I could remember the name of it, but they just sell a bunch of housewares and clothing and accessories, and I think that it's a really well curated store. I really liked these leather bags, and I want to go back and get one. This is a store that just sells really funky and chic and cute stuff that kind of, to me, epitomizes Korean style. It's cute, but not super saccharine cute like the kind of stuff you would find in Japan. And unlike a lot of cute things, it's also very stylish and chic. They just have a little bit of everything, so it kind of reminds me of Anthropology or Terrain in Pennsylvania, if you're familiar with that. So this store is on the right side of the street. When you come out, you want to turn right. There's this tteokbokki restaurant that I've been meaning to check out, but I haven't had a chance to. It was that green building. And then if you walk down the street and look to your left, there's this really cool bakery that looks like it used to be a bathhouse, which I also haven't been to. And then there's this restaurant called Palette Hannam, and this attracts me because of the door, but when I looked at the menu, the food looked really heavy, and it's not the type of food that I normally eat, so I haven't been there. This is a mandu restaurant that I really like. It's called Changhwadang, and they have a location in Ikseon-dong, and we've been to that location many times, but they have really good mandu or Korean dumplings. A lot of them are spicy though, so you want to order the gogi mandu, which is the meat ones if you have kids and you don't want to eat something spicy. They also have different noodle dishes, like this cold noodle one that comes out in the summer, and other things. Alright, I'm going to give you guys a link to a Google map with all of these places on it so you can find them. But I found this cute little cafe called Obok, and they specialize in cereal items, and this was so cute. I'm afraid that this cafe is going to go out of business soon, so I'm going to really do a detailed video on it. Because both times when I went there were no customers. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of cereal, but I really liked the theme and the look and feel of this place. And in Korea, you don't have all these different variations of cereal, so maybe this works really well here. But it wasn't just a cereal shop, it also seemed to have a little bit of like vintage toys and Americana, I guess. So this is a place that really appeals to me for some reason. I just like all the little cute doodads and vintage items that they had on the shelves, because I grew up during the 80s and 90s, and this kind of stuff reminds me of my childhood. So I just felt like this place had a lot of character, and if you are into these vintage places, then I will link my vintage toy shops in Seoul video, because you have to check those places out. You will love them too if you love things like Care Bears and My Little Pony and Barbie and things like that. I really hope that this cafe is able to stay in business though, because I think it's one of the most unique cafes in this neighborhood. Okay guys, I'm all over the place in this video. I'm finding it hard to organize a walking tour, but I'm actually going back towards Low Coffee Hannam and then turning to the right. There's this cute little, I don't know, shop that has this pink basket that looks really cute. And then there's this restaurant called Underyard, which seems like it's a really popular restaurant, but I haven't been there yet. And then if you go down this small alleyway and turn to the right, then you'll see this place called Wet Coffee, which appears a lot on Instagram. But I went there and it was just like a whatever coffee shop that played hip-hop music really loud. But next we're going to head over to Old Fairy Doughnut, and it's quite a walk from this main area of Hannam-dong, but if you like donuts and you want to eat like a fancy donut, you can walk about maybe 10 minutes from that main area where I was and through this residential neighborhood that has a lot of apartments, and you'll finally reach Old Fairy Doughnut. So this donut shop used to be located in the back streets of Itaewon, but they relocated here maybe 2 years ago, and I like this donut shop. I think they have some really good donuts, but my favorite thing is the tube latte, which is a latte with a pink Homer Simpson donut on top. And I've also tried the creme brulee donut, which is so decadent and delicious. It's more like a dessert than a donut. And you can also do a donut eating contest if you're into that. I want to give a big shout out to my Patreons, Hello Dino, Christy, Aaron, Bonnie, Pinball Reviewer, and V. Thank you so much for your support. I love this little ramen shop. It serves up a really good bowl of ramen, and I think we had both miso ramen as well as maze soba. You purchase your ramen at the vending machine, and then you give your ticket to the person behind the counter, just like you do in Japan. These pickles are super Korean style. And I got the miso ramen, which has a tiny piece of baby corn on top. My husband got the maze soba, and this was really good. Both of them were really authentic. We also got this gyoza with the lovely crust on the bottom, and I got an onigiri, and the best thing about this was that they give you these finger gloves to eat your onigiri with so that you don't have to get your hands dirty. I think this is a great place to go on a date. It kind of reminds me of restaurants in New York that my husband and I used to go to before we had kids. And the price was not bad. It was about $26-27 for all that food. Okay, now I'm going to take you guys to a restaurant that is a little bit outside of this neighborhood, but I think it's worth going to, and it's really not that far. It's about a 5-minute walk from this area. But you have to cross the street and you're heading towards Itaewon. Actually, before we go to the restaurant, let's make a quick stop at Terrarosa Coffee. Terrarosa is one of the most popular coffee chains in Korea, and if you haven't seen my video on where to get good coffee in Korea, then I'll leave a link in the corner. but this is one of the more popular coffee brands in Korea, and they have really good quality beans. The prices are a little bit high though. Okay, right next to Terrarosa is Supermarché, and I think this opened relatively recently this year in 2019, and this is a restaurant that's sort of modeled after a supermarket or a deli, and they sell a lot of things that you don't typically find in Korea. It's sort of European and American at the same time. They have gelato and desserts and donuts, and they also sell some of their own goods, including frozen soup in the refrigerator section, so it really feels like a deli in that way. And the donuts all look really good, but I like that one with the honeycomb on top because I like burnt sugar. The salads I didn't think were that appetizing, and the prices, to be honest, at this place are kind of high for what you're getting, but I just think that this restaurant has a really cool concept. Just because of the way it's set up, the downstairs area looks kind of like a supermarket or deli, and then if you go upstairs, there's a seating area and you can order your food at the counter, but this area just feels like something that's sort of retro but also really modern at the same time. I mean, look at the furniture. This looks like something that I would find in my grandma's house. Basically, you order your food at the bar and you mark up the sheet indicating what you want to order, then you pay for it up there, and then you can pick it up at the counter. But let's take a look at the menu. A lot of the prices are in the $12 to $17 range, so that's kind of expensive for what I would consider as cheap American cafeteria food. But those things are considered foreign foods here in Korea, so they're going to be more expensive. And at a place like this, you are paying more for the experience and the environment than you are for the food. When I went with my husband, we got the French onion soup, which was pretty good, as well as the chicken curry, which comes in 2 plates like this. And then we also got an order of chili cheese fries. I mean, who can resist chili cheese fries? Alright, let's turn around and go back towards Hannam-dong, and instead of going down that small alleyway, let's take a left and go down the main street. If you look across the street right there, you'll see Maybell Bakery, and this is a really good and cheap bakery in Seoul. By the afternoon, they always sell out of bread, and it looks like we came towards the tail end because here most of the shelves are empty, but they make a really good crusty European style bread. But they sell a few Korean style baked goods like bread with red bean in the middle. Most of the bread here is pretty inexpensive. It's like $1 to $4, which I think is really cheap for a Korean bakery, so it's worth stopping by if you're in the neighborhood. This next restaurant is actually considered a Chinese restaurant, but my husband and I like to go here to eat grilled lamb meat. It's one of those places where you can go and eat meat and drink some beer, and it's kind of more of an after hours place, but of course my husband and I eat dinner at 5 p.m. now that we have kids, so we went right when it opened at 5 p.m. and it was totally empty. But the coolest thing about this restaurant is the way that the meat is grilled. I really love this little device that shifts back and forth and turns the meat and make sure that everything cooks evenly. I can just watch this for hours. I don't even really like lamb meat that much. I go here because my husband likes it, but I think that this little device is really fun. I like to let my meat grill for a long time so that the edges of it get really crispy, and then they give you this red pepper powder that you can dip your meat in, and it gives it a little extra zing. Now turn right when you come out of the restaurant. This is kind of the main street in Hannam-dong. If you keep walking straight, then it'll take you right back to the subway to Hangangjin metro station. Let's take a quick peek down this alleyway. I have my eye on this pizza restaurant that's kind of up on the hill, but it's always closed whenever I pass by it. And if you go down this little alleyway, then you can access all those little restaurants and cafes that I showed you earlier in the video. Now I'm back on the main street again, and I wanted to take you guys to Anthracite Coffee. This is one of the coffee places that I frequent often to purchase coffee beans. I think that they make a really good bean. I like the Butterfat Trio personally. This is kind of a chain, and if you want to check out more amazing coffee shops, then check out the video that I'm going to link in the corner. Upstairs is where they have the seating area for Anthracite, and it has a very industrial Brooklyn vibe to it, which I think is a trend among Korean coffee shops lately. And then downstairs there is this furniture / home goods shop, and I really love this little store. Most of the furniture in here is in the mid-century modern style. It looks like it's straight out of Mad Men. And they have a few home goods here that are kind of vintage Korean items. So they have these little brushes that you can use to sweep the tabletop, some shoe polish. To be honest, I wasn't around back in the day, so these things don't mean a whole lot to me, but they seem like they're kind of vintagey, but still modern at the same time, like this gold cutlery set, which I think is really pretty. I neglected to film this, but if you go all the way downstairs to the basement, there's a store that sells bags, and from there you can access the back alleyways of Hannam-dong, where I was previously. This is sort of the main street, so they have bigger name brands like Aesop soaps. You know, that $40 bottle of soap that all the fancy restaurants have. There are also a couple of museums on this street. First one is on the right, and it's Hyundai's Sound Library, and this place owns 10,000 vinyl records, so if you're really into music, you can go here and listen to music. This is a place that I've been meaning to check out, but honestly, I haven't been here yet. If you're a super music buff and you've been here, then leave a comment below and let me know how it is. Do you know those little packets of yellow instant coffee that you can find all over Korea? They're made by Maxim, and this is the Maxim coffee shop. So I don't really think of Maxim as a premier coffee brand, but this is a pretty fancy store. This is Maxim's flagship store, and I believe on the basement floor you can take a look at their roasting process. I find this space a little confusing, to be honest, because I associate Maxim with being a cheap instant coffee brand. But then they have this really fancy cafe, which seems to indicate otherwise. Did you guys catch Starbucks on the right? This seems like it's Coffee Road, isn't it? So next we have Space Shinsan, and that's this big modern white building you see here on the right. And this is an art gallery. I've never been here before, but it's on my to visit list. On the other side of the street, you will see Roundabout Curry, and I had actually been searching for this place for quite a while. I saw a vacant building that says Roundabout Curry on it in the back streets of Hannam, where we were initially, but it seems like they've relocated to this spot on the main street. I'm sorry I keep recommending Japanese restaurants to you guys, but I just love Japanese food. This restaurant has a lot of home-style Japanese food like curry, soba, udon, and they sell Japanese-style pasta, which my daughter really loves. They also sell tonkatsu, which is fried pork cutlet over curry and rice. I got this flat white noodle, which is called himokawa udon, and it comes with a goma or sesame sauce as well as a soy sauce that you can dip the noodles in. It's super good. My daughter got the mentaiko cream pasta, which is cod roe egg pasta. These noodles are kind of like lasagna noodles, but they taste like udon noodles, so I don't know, they're super amazing. My daughter and I both absolutely loved this restaurant. Now there's a whole nother part of Hannam-dong across this big road, including a museum called the D Museum, which is probably my favorite modern art museum in Seoul. And it's really out of the way of everything if you ask me, but it's really cool, and the gift shop is also super cute and amazing. This area of Hannam-dong is really far from the main area that I showed you guys, so it's probably something that you'd want to visit on a separate trip. But it's really a small pocket that has a lot of upscale restaurants, and it kind of reminds me of New York. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. For more videos about Seoul, check out these two playlists right here, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you next time. Bye!
Bye!